9 hikers, 1 mountain, 0 survivors, and a night so terrifying that even the investigators were left speechless. This is not a story for the faint-hearted. This is the Dyatlov Pass Incident, a chilling, unsolved mystery that has haunted the Ural Mountains for over 60 years.
In every corner of history, there are stories no one was meant to find. Moments erased, twisted, or buried so deep that only fragments remain. But every mystery leaves a footprint. Every disappearance leaves a shadow. Every unsolved case leaves a file. Here, we open those files. We follow the trails others abandoned. We reconstruct final moments no one witnessed. We look into the places where logic breaks and the truth hides in the dark. Because behind every legend, behind every scream in the night, behind every person who vanished without a trace, there is always something unseen. Welcome to the Unseen File, where the lost speak and the shadows have a story.
In January of 1959, 9 young, highly skilled hikers set out from the Ural Polytechnic Institute on what should have been a routine winter expedition. Led by Igor Dyatlov, a man known for his courage and precision, the group was confident in their abilities to navigate the harsh winter landscape of the Urals. They carried supplies, cameras, and enough knowledge to survive extreme conditions. But what awaited them on the slopes of Kholat Syakhl, the mountain the locals ominously call the Dead Mountain, was something none of them could have imagined. What follows is a tale of fear, confusion, and inexplicable events, a story that has baffled scientists, investigators, and historians alike for decades. The team consisted of 8 men and 2 women. All were experienced hikers and skiers, well-trained for the harsh winter climate of the Urals. They recorded their journey meticulously, documenting their route and noting their experiences in diaries and photographs. For days, the expedition progressed normally. They crossed forests, climbed slopes, and navigated treacherous terrain. There were no signs of unusual events. The team joked and laughed, posing for photographs, unaware that these images would become haunting relics of their final days. By late January, they approached Kholat Syakhl. The mountain's name alone carried a chilling warning. In the language of the Mansi people, it means Dead Mountain. The hikers, practical and fearless, dismissed the superstition as folklore. But sometimes, human courage is no match for the unknown. On February 1st, the group set up camp on the slopes of Kholat Syakhl. What happened next is one of the most confounding aspects of this case. Hours after settling in, something compelled the hikers to cut open their tent from the inside and flee into a blizzard. They left behind warm clothing, shoes, and essential gear, items no experienced hiker would abandon voluntarily in temperatures reaching -30 degrees Celsius. Why would 9 trained adventurers run into a storm with such desperation? Some ran barefoot. Some were dressed only in underwear. The snow stretched for miles, deep and unyielding, and yet they moved with purpose, not scattered in panic, but deliberate, as if fleeing something too terrifying to face. Search parties began their efforts after the group failed to return on schedule. What they discovered was horrifying. The tent was torn open from the inside, with the zippers and fabric cut roughly. Footprints led into the forest, then abruptly stopped. Some bodies were found relatively close to the tent. Others lay scattered across the slope, some as far as 1.5 kilometers away. The injuries were inexplicable. Several hikers died from hypothermia, their bodies frozen in positions that suggested despair and exhaustion. But others bore gruesome internal injuries. One man's chest had been crushed as if by a powerful force. Another's skull was fractured. One female hiker was missing her eyes and tongue. And then there was the radiation. Some of their clothing carried measurable radioactive contamination, a detail that would fuel decades of speculation and conspiracy theories. The scene was surreal. It was as if some invisible force had shattered the ordinary world and left behind a tableau of fear and death. One of the earliest explanations proposed was a small avalanche. The theory suggests that the slope became unstable, forcing the hikers to flee in panic. The avalanche might have partially buried the bodies or contributed to the crushing injuries. But experts quickly noted the flaws. The slope was not steep enough to produce a full avalanche. There was no debris indicating a slide, and the footprints showed calm, measured movements, rather than chaotic scrambling. Experienced hikers would never abandon a tent and march barefoot into freezing snow unless confronted by an unimaginable threat. So if it wasn't an avalanche, then what was it? The Soviet Union had military operations in the region, including testing of parachute mines and experimental weapons. Some theorists believe the hikers may have stumbled upon a secret test. This could explain the radiation detected on some of their clothing and the unusual injuries resembling blast trauma. It would also explain why the case files were sealed for decades and why official reports were vague and incomplete. But if this was true, who ordered the cover-up and why? The government remains silent, and the silence only adds to the terror of the story. Some scientists have suggested a natural phenomenon known as infrasound. Strong winds swirling around the mountain may have generated frequencies that humans can't hear but can perceive subconsciously. These frequencies can induce panic, disorientation, and hallucinations. This could explain the sudden flight from the tent. It might also explain irrational behavior in extreme cold. But it does not account for the crushing injuries, missing body parts, or radiation. Once again, the puzzle remains incomplete. Some theories venture into the paranormal. Locals have told stories of strange lights in the sky. Witnesses miles away reported glowing orbs moving silently above the snow-covered terrain. Some believe these lights could have caused the panic. Others speculate about creatures or forces beyond human understanding. Could the hikers have been attacked by something entirely unknown? The evidence cannot confirm it, but the possibility haunts the imagination. Beyond the cold, injuries, and theories, there is a deeply human story. These were young people, explorers, friends, and dreamers who faced fear with courage and camaraderie. Diaries recovered from the site reveal humor, concern for each other, and plans for the future. And yet, all those dreams were abruptly frozen in the snow. Their last hours are a reminder of how fragile life can be in the face of the unknown. The official investigation concluded in 1959 with a vague statement, "A compelling unknown force caused the deaths of the hikers." In the decades that followed, independent researchers, scientists, and thrill-seekers have returned to Kholat Syakhl, studying the terrain, analyzing injuries, and even recreating the possible scenarios. Every hypothesis has weaknesses. Every new piece of evidence opens more questions. And every year, the story continues to capture the imagination of the world. The Dyatlov Pass Incident has inspired books, documentaries, podcasts, and movies. It has become a symbol of human curiosity, courage, and the terrifying power of nature and the unknown. People continue to visit the site, drawn by fascination and the hope of discovering the truth. but the mountain guards its secrets jealously. Every winter, it claims more explorers, more stories, more unanswered questions. Avalanche. Plausible, but insufficient to explain injuries. Military tests. Suspicious radiation and secrecy suggest something hidden. Infrasound. Explains panic, but not death. Unknown forces. Glowing lights, strange injuries, missing body parts. Each theory is compelling. Each theory is incomplete. Each theory fuels endless debate. Imagine being one of those hikers, alone in the dark, freezing cold, fleeing something invisible. Your friends scattered across the snow, the wind howling like a living thing, fear pressing down stronger than your will to survive. And then, silence. 9 hikers entered the mountains. 9 never returned. The truth remains buried under snow and ice, perhaps forever. And that is why the Dyatlov Pass incident continues to haunt our imagination, because some mysteries were never meant to be solved.